Let's see. Filianore, she gone. I always wondered what was inside that egg she was holding on to. Now, let's go over here to the right. I feel like there's something here. If you notice, you can kind of see what looks like old Anne Orlando there. From far away. Like, that's how far into the future this has gone. So, I'm curious because I really want to look further and deeper. Oh, wow. They actually go here. Interesting. Wow. What's this where feeling? Wow.
I've searched for thee, dark, stricken creature. I am Shira, daughter of the Duke, descendant of gods, and trusted friend to Medea. At once, I am the honor of the gods, the glory of fire, and the fear of the dark. Thou shalt not go unpunished for thy treachery, thy profanity, and thy shameless yearning.
Oh, yeah, she's not playing around with that. Ooh. Puta sucia. Alright, she's not playing with us. Oh, she is out. Ooh, I lived.
Forgive thy lowly kind.
Whew. Crucifix of the Mad King. And a Titanite slab. And what else? Sacred Chime of Filianore. So, we got 3 goodies there. So, let's report back to the Firelight Shrine. We got everything we needed to get there. Like, that's it. Whew, man. I always check here, because sometimes you never know something pops up.
Well met, Ashen One. How may I be of service?
Okay, so I always check, because sometimes there's always extra gear, but it looks like that's it. So
Ashen One.
you have already seen me do the usual rounds on that. But let's look at the stuff we just got. So, alright, so there was a Sacred Chime. This one, Sacred Chime Filianore. Notice there's a difference. This one has Gentle Prayer, this one has Pray for Favor. Sacred Chime blessed by Princess Filianore, matriarch of the church. Filianore's favor knows no boundaries. The Sacred Chime expands the range of vicinity affecting miracles that heal, cure, provide other enhancements. So if you like to occasionally heal like a mofo, or let's say you do PvE, and you got like 2 other people playing with you, and you have a good faith build, this is going to help you out. Pray for favor. Works with Chime equipped on left or right hand. Heal HP very slowly for the duration of time. Kind of like regeneration in Final Fantasy. Affects caster and those in vicinity. So we will eventually see an item similar to this through the Warming Stones in Elden Ring. So that's a nice thing to have. It's very different than this one. So this is for the clerics who become undead. So that's different. Okay, we got a Titanite slab, and then we had gotten the Mad King Crucifix. Crucifix of the Mad King. There we go. If you notice, you can scale on intelligence and faith. More faith than intelligence from the looks of it. But again, we got 2 things here. Alright. A cross spear hung with a malformed corpse. Once a mad king was born to pygmy royalty, and Shira, Knight of Filianore, put him to rest. But Shira's crossbeard, unable to kill the undying king, only pinned itself to him. Shira delivered them together to a dark room where she stayed and held them close. The Mad King's folly. Slammed the malformed corpse into the ground to briefly awaken it, then fill it with, I'll say fillet. Then fillet with strong attack to trigger a roar, a blessing, or vexation. I've never messed with this weapon. It's actually my first time getting it, so there's that. Then I got more weapon I want to max out. I can do so right now.
But be careful.
So now I'm curious. Now we shall return to kill the first flame. Further up. It's a big run. Don't worry, there's no femto here. We already dealt with what's his face, but what we can do is look around, right? Look at all these different swords and banners, spears. You got what look like a Star Green sword, you got a Lothric spear. And just looking at it now, I'm like, damn. It was Lothricville across the board here. And then you got all these little flowers. It kind of reminds me of Bloodborne in a way. And we look all the way to the end where you see where the eclipse is at. I've never actually looked at the... Yeah, as far as close as you're going to get to the eclipse. And for me, it was important to actually see the Ringed City, because it's like they both show a world that's crumbled and come to an end and caving in on itself, except that the Ringed City goes further, because you see how much worse it gets if you keep linking the flame. So then you're left with a crossroads like myself here. That's what I'm debating right now. So we have had a very long journey, folks. Now here's the thing. If I summon the Firekeeper, we end this all. End the fire, end the everything. But if we walk here, because I am hollow, because I have all the sigils, and because I'm married to Henri, we end up becoming the usherers of the Age of Dark via the Age of Hollows, because we arrest the flame. So it's like we're Age of Dark, but at the same time you're bringing Hollows into full power. You know what? Let me show you what this world looks like when I decide to, make Londor great again. Yeah, notice how he took the fire into himself instead of linking together. I love that the way they play with the sun like that when you rise with the hand. That's really cool. Interesting.
Gracious Lord, Make Londor.
Let the credits roll. If I'm not mistaken, the ending music is different when you do the Age of Dark versus when you link the flame or become Lord of Hollows, also known as Usurpation of Fire. That's what it's technically called in the trophy guide. So this song is so damn relaxing, people. Like, I love putting this on, like when I'm on the bus heading home from work. I play this. It like puts a sense of flatness to your mood, and not flat in a bad way, but rather the sense of like if you're like all over the place, it kind of just. Oh, that the Philharmonic. Oh my goodness, all the different. Damn. I hope everyone that's tuned in enjoyed this one. I honestly didn't think I'd see a day where I do a Dark Souls 3 live stream, but this stream series, I mean, it's been fun to do, so I'm just glad that when it comes to doing this, I always go New Game Plus, because, man, I know you guys would tune out if y'all saw me die a little too much. Like, come on, man. I'd rather let y'all see where I'm a little more seasoned instead of a raw dumpling, you know what I mean? Mocap shit. Oh, that's cool. So there's some motion capture here. I only used 2 actors, really? Interesting. Casting Vanessa Baker. Okay. First recording. Oh, the voice cast of like everyone. This is gonna be fun to reread. William Vanderpooy, that dude is set for life. He's literally in every Souls game, Bloodborne, anything that has patches, he's there, which is really cool. That's a man that's gonna be eating good for a long time. And there's always this interesting premise that Patches is the furtive pygmy, but that's a theory for other people to figure out. What the heck? CQC testers Michael Jackson. Oh man, I'm sure they've given him a couple of jokes or two at the office while developing this. Yeah, folks, if you ever have trouble sleeping, put this song on. It'll mellow out pretty good. Wow, they got a Chinese localization. There's Taiwan. Wow. You know what would have been cool? If they let us hear the Japanese version of the voice actors and the American version, or if they have such, if they ever. So now we have the end of fire. And this is what happens when you summon her instead of the rest of them. Right, you just have to just put an end to everything. To see the Ringing City, and if you choose to not be the Lord of Hollows, this is what's going to ultimately happen.
The first flame quickly fades. Darkness will shortly settle. But one day, tiny flames will dance across the darkness. Like embers linked by lords past.
I thought that made the sword look like it was bloodstained somehow.
Ashen One, hearest thou my voice still?
Oh man, that was yeah, that was a long journey, folks. Damn. This gameplay through, it was one of struggle, anxiety, anger, frustration, with sprinkles of attention deficit. And a hyper dosage of panic rolling, fighting gravity. I mean, there's much that can be said about this, but also the game itself is just... I wouldn't call it a 10 out of 10, but definitely a 9. A solid 9 out of 10, this game. It wasn't perfect, but it was so damn good. Of course, you know, beginning, you're learning the game, it's like, oh my god, you go through so much hell because you're just trying to go from point A to point B. But then if you're like me, you know you need to level up, which means you gotta hack away at things along the way. So of course you do, but then remember, you know, your stats determine your limitations. So whatever you're starting with, you have to be super careful because you will die. I mean, it's an inevitable thing, but still, depending on your class, that can really dictate how you start off in the game, how much harder it is, or how much easier it is to the road of getting stronger when it comes to your level distributions and everything. So for example, if you're a wretch, or in this case, you know, basically naked unga bunga, all your stats are like even down the middle, which kind of sucks. But then it's like, then as you go up, you can distribute more. At least that's the principle. But me personally, in Elden Ring, I started off as a hero. Here, the closest thing to that was warrior. That was my start. Mr. Axe Viking dude. That was basically me. So I did that, and of course, as I got along, and the thing is, because I knew right then and there were like the way the navigation was when it came to intelligence and faith for miracles, for sorceries, in conjunction with a strength or dex build here. Obviously, you could tell they rectified a lot of that in Elden Ring when it came to Dark Souls 3. One criticism I can say is the fact that unless you get a weapon that is a paired weapon, there's no power stancing in this game whatsoever, which is very odd considering that Dark Souls 2 introduced power stancing, as well as the one thing we hate now, known as the wind-up. For better or worse, the wind-up is the reason why you have that whole wait for it, okay, dodge now, you know, type of thing, instead of instant hits. Of course, Miyazaki must have amused himself and thought, you know what, Elden Ring, let's make that wind-up of a toy even worse, just to really make people run around and everything. Then when they finally wear out on their dodges or jumps, bonk, and then let the suffering begin. When it comes to the camera, of course, the fight where you really go through it the most when it comes to camera is Midir and the Nameless King. More so, I would say, the Nameless King, because with Midir you can control the camera a bit. You can, you know, when you lock on, lock off, you can work around it. You know, you'll be able to get your way around. But when it comes to Nameless King, holy crap. I would definitely attribute 60% of the difficulty of that boss fight to the camera, if nothing else. Because if you go not locking into the freaking chicken dragon, whatever, you'll be all over the place. You're gonna be running around trying to figure out where the hell you're going. And if you lock on, gotta make sure you stay to the side of the head and then hit it. But then you gotta watch out for freaking Nameless King if he whacks you to freaking like Truku Tao. So it's one of those things you have to look out for. Whereas with Midir, eventually I hated the realization that you have to choreograph the fight. You have to script the fight. Like, you can't be as creative as you are against other dragons that you fight in Elden Ring or in Dark Souls 2 or whatever. With Dark Souls 3, when it comes to Midir, you want to stay near the head, dodge to the left or to the right when he's swiping. Of course, if he's breathing, go to the right if you can, if it's doing like an initial right to left type of sweeping of flame. But then the tough part is when it comes to the phase 2, right? Because when he starts doing his Godzilla Bahamut Zero Blast, yo, you don't know what to expect sometimes. But sometimes it's like, oh, it's coming this way, but then he's just doing the light sweeps. You have to kind of like eye the smoke and everything that's indicating where the sweeping of dark blasts are coming. It was one thing I definitely had to really like realize in retrospect when it comes to that. It's like, fuck. Like, Midir is beatable, but in terms of the creativity to beat him, you're kind of limited. You can't do a lot of wiggling around like you could with, like, for example, when I fought Slave Knight Gale. Slave Knight Gale, you can do the mist cheese, the pestilent mist cheese, and then bonk him, or you know, like you have at least 2-3 different ways you can do it. Midir, stay near the head, dodge left or right, and you have to limit yourself to no more than 1 or 2 hits maximum when he opens himself up to get hit in the head. And then if you get behind the tail, hit the tail, but make sure to go, you know, dodge backwards to avoid any tail swipes, because his tail swipe probably hurts a little more than the fire spreads that he does, or even the Bahamut Zero Blast, as I call it. Everyone that's tuned into this game with me, thank you. I hope you guys enjoyed watching me, and I hope you guys got to have a good laugh with this. I really hope you guys did. I personally do. Every time I sit back and do my time step editing on all my videos and everything, I look back and I'm like, this is funny. Or sometimes I find myself laughing even harder than the very moment it happened. Things of that nature. And again, everyone that tuned into this during this month, again, much appreciated. Hit the follow button if you love the content. So again, Ron322, ready to sign off. Hit the follow button here on Twitch. Subscribe to Ron322. Got everything nice and edited, so that way everything's nice and smooth. And again, timestamps that we can go from point A to point B of interest. So once again, thank you for tuning in. Love you guys. See ya.